One of the most powerful, yet often overlooked, tools to maximize productivity and enhance both physical and mental health lies in a natural stimulus that surrounds us every day: sunlight. The exposure to natural light, particularly in the first 30 to 60 minutes after waking, acts as a critical biological signal that sets the pace for our entire day. This simple practice impacts the brain and body at multiple levels by aligning our internal clocks, boosting alertness, and optimizing cognitive function. Foundation for this lies in the concept of the circadian rhythm, a roughly 24-hour internal cycle that governs various physiological processes, including sleep-wake patterns, hormone release, body temperature, and metabolism. At the heart of the circadian rhythm is the suprachiasmatic nucleus (SCN), a tiny group of neurons located in the hypothalamus of the brain. This master clock orchestrates the timing of biological functions to synchronize with environmental cues, primarily light. When you wake up and expose your eyes to natural light, ideally outdoor sunlight, you are sending a powerful signal to the SCN. This signal helps recalibrate your internal clock to the external day-night cycle, ensuring your physiology is aligned with the actual time of day. Without this critical cue, your circadian rhythm can become desynchronized, leading to impaired cognitive function, reduced energy, and disruptions in sleep quality. The mechanism behind this light detection is fascinating. Specialized cells in the retina, called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells (iPRGCs), contain a photopigment known as melanopsin. These cells are sensitive predominantly to blue wavelengths of light, which are most abundant in morning sunlight. When these cells detect light, they send direct input to the SCN, effectively telling your brain it's daytime and time to be awake and alert. This input triggers a cascade of physiological changes. Cortisol, often called the stress hormone, but more accurately a hormone of alertness and energy, begins to rise naturally after morning light exposure. This increase helps prime your brain and body for the day, improving focus, motivation, and physical readiness. At the same time, melatonin production, the hormone responsible for sleepiness, shuts down, further promoting wakefulness. Beyond setting your wakefulness cycle, morning light exposure also enhances mood and cognitive performance. Studies have shown that individuals who get regular morning light tend to experience better attention, memory consolidation, and emotional regulation. The benefits are especially pronounced in people who suffer from seasonal mood disturbances or mild depression, as light exposure can improve serotonin in production and overall neural activity in mood-regulating circuits. Critically, the timing and quality of this light exposure matter. Artificial lighting, especially the kind emitted by screens and indoor bulbs, lacks the full spectrum and intensity of natural sunlight, particularly in the blue wavelength range. Thus, simply turning on bright indoor lights may not suffice to properly reset your circadian rhythm. Ideally, you should aim to spend at least 10 to 15 minutes outside in natural sunlight soon after waking. Even on cloudy days, outdoor light is substantially brighter and richer in blue wavelengths compared to indoor lighting. The way you expose your eyes also plays a role. Direct light exposure through the eyelids is not effective. Your eyes need to be open, and looking around at the environment can enhance the light signal received by iPRGC. However, avoid staring directly at the sun. Instead, allow the ambient light to enter naturally, which will still be sufficient to trigger the biological effects. An additional layer to consider is how this morning light exposure interacts with other behaviors throughout the day. Consistent morning light helps regulate the timing of meals, exercise, and sleep, creating a stable routine that reinforces the natural rhythm of your body. Irregular light exposure, such as sleeping in late, working under artificial lighting, or using screens extensively at night can disrupt this balance, making it harder to achieve sustained focus. Optimal energy and restful sleep. In modern society, many people spend the majority of their waking hours indoors under artificial lighting, which lacks the intensity and spectrum needed for robust circadian entrainment. This shift contributes to what some researchers call circadian misalignment, a state linked with increased risk for metabolic disorders, cognitive decline, mood disturbances, and diminished productivity. Integrating morning light exposure as a daily ritual serves as a powerful corrective measure to counteract these effects. For individuals aiming to maximize their productivity and overall health, the practice of morning light exposure can serve as a foundational habit. The neurological and hormonal changes initiated by this simple act set the stage for enhanced alertness, better cognitive function, and improved mood, thereby creating a more resilient and efficient brain-body system. This approach is accessible, free, and straightforward, yet it taps directly into the biology that governs human performance. Breathing is a fundamental biological function that most people perform automatically without conscious thought. Yet the way we breathe holds profound influence over our nervous system, mental clarity, and overall productivity. Intentional breathwork, grounded in the principles of neuroscience, can serve as a powerful daily tool to regulate stress, sharpen focus, and optimize physical and cognitive performance. The brain communicates with the body through two primary branches of the autonomic nervous system: the sympathetic nervous system, which activates the fight or flight response, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes relaxation and recovery. Breathwork acts as a direct gateway to modulating the balance between these two systems, allowing conscious control over a process that is typically automatic. When under stress or high cognitive demand, breathing patterns often become shallow and rapid. This style of breathing signals the brain to remain alert and mobilizes energy resources. But if sustained, it can also lead to increased anxiety, muscle tension, and impaired cognitive function. Conversely, slow, deep, and deliberate breathing can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, specifically through the vagus nerve, producing a calming effect on both mind and body. One of the most well-studied breathwork techniques involves controlled nasal breathing at a slow rate, often around 5 to 6 breaths per minute, which is significantly slower than the average resting rate of 12 to 20 breaths per minute. This reduction in respiratory rate increases heart rate variability (HRV), a biomarker of autonomic flexibility and resilience. Higher HRV is associated with improved emotional regulation, better stress management, and enhanced executive function, all critical for sustained productivity. The mechanism behind this effect involves the baroreceptors, pressure-sensitive neurons located in the walls of blood vessels, that detect changes in blood pressure during inhalation and exhalation. Slow, rhythmic breathing enhances baroreceptor sensitivity, improving the feedback loop between the heart and brain, which leads to more efficient regulation of cardiovascular and neural activity. Additionally, breathwork influences the brain's chemistry by modulating levels of neurotransmitters such as gamma-aminobutyric acid GABA, which plays a key role in reducing neuronal excitability and promoting calmness. Increased GABA activity through breath regulation can decrease anxiety and create a mental environment conducive to clear, focused thinking. Different breathing techniques target various outcomes depending on their pattern and intensity. For example, the box breath method: inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold again for 4 seconds, is widely used to induce calm and improve concentration. This technique enhances control over the breath and, consequently, the nervous system, helping to manage acute stress and improve decision-making under pressure. Another method, the physiological sigh, involves taking 2 rapid inhales through the nose followed by a prolonged exhale through the mouth. This breath pattern rapidly reduces carbon dioxide levels in the blood, which can help interrupt the body's stress response, providing immediate relief from anxiety and promoting relaxation without loss of alertness. Breathwork is also an essential tool for enhancing physical performance. During exercise, intentional control of breathing optimizes oxygen delivery to muscles and helps manage fatigue. For cognitive tasks, controlled breathing increases oxygen availability to the brain, supporting sustained attention and reducing mental fatigue. Crucially, breathing exercises don't require any special equipment or extensive time commitment. Even brief daily sessions of 3 to 5 minutes of focused breath work can produce significant improvements in stress resilience and cognitive function. This makes breathwork an accessible tool for anyone seeking to enhance their productivity and mental health amidst the demands of modern life. Integrating breathwork with other daily practices, such as morning light exposure and movement, creates synergistic effects. For instance, combining breath control with physical activity can enhance the calming and energizing effects of exercise, while breathwork done before or during work sessions can maintain focus and prevent burnout. The impact of breathwork extends beyond immediate effects. Regular practice induces neuroplastic changes in brain regions involved in attention, emotion regulation, and autonomic control, including the prefrontal cortex, insula, and brainstem nuclei. This rewiring improves one's baseline capacity to manage stress and sustain high-level cognitive function over time. Modern neuroscience continues to uncover the depth of influence that breathwork exerts on our physiology and psychology. As a simple, reliable, and scientifically grounded daily tool, harnessing the power of breath represents a direct method to access and shape the nervous system for enhanced productivity, mental clarity, and emotional well-being. Physical movement is often thought of primarily as a means to improve muscle strength, cardiovascular health, and overall physical fitness. However, movement plays a far more fundamental role that directly impacts cognitive function, mental health, and productivity. The act of moving the body initiates a cascade of neurobiological processes that promote brain health, enhance focus, and sustain mental energy throughout the day. At the core of this relationship between movement and cognition lies neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable ability to change and adapt in response to experience. Exercise stimulates the release of neurotrophic factors, such as brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, which support the growth, survival, and differentiation of neurons. BDNF, often referred to as fertilizer for the brain, enhances synaptic plasticity, the foundation for learning and memory. By engaging in regular physical activity, the brain's capacity to encode new information, retain skills, and adapt to new challenges is significantly improved. Movement also impacts neurotransmitter systems critical for mood and motivation. Physical activity increases the availability of dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine, chemicals that regulate reward, mood, and attention. These neurotransmitters improve motivation and reduce feelings of anxiety and depression, creating a mental environment more conducive to sustained productivity and creative problem solving. One of the most immediate benefits of movement is the increase in cerebral blood flow. When muscles contract during exercise, the heart pumps more blood, delivering oxygen and essential nutrients to the brain. This enhanced perfusion supports neural activity and clears metabolic waste products that accumulate during periods of intense mental effort. Even brief bouts of moderate physical activity, such as walking or light aerobic exercise, can increase cerebral blood flow by up to 30%, rapidly enhancing alertness and cognitive performance. Importantly, movement acts as a natural reset for the brain. Cognitive tasks requiring prolonged focus can lead to mental fatigue and a decrease in executive function, but engaging in physical activity interrupts this cycle by shifting brain activity patterns. Exercise increases activation in the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for decision making, attention, and self-control. This boost in prefrontal activity helps restore cognitive resources, enabling more effective problem solving and sustained focus when returning to work. The timing and type of movement also matter. Incorporating movement into breaks during work or study sessions can combat the negative effects of prolonged sitting, such as reduced blood flow and muscular stiffness, which are associated with cognitive decline and decreased productivity. Short, frequent breaks involving stretching, walking, or dynamic movements can rejuvenate the mind and body, maintaining high